I've heard of a lot of mixed reviews with the outgoing city manager. I've heard some positive things in the sense that he'd implemented some sort of team programming. I think it's called the 5P program, which allowed for more training of cross-training of employees to give them more flexibility. On the other hand, I personally had a few incidents early on in his tenure with the city where it seemed as if he was overstepping his bounds a bit as a city manager, coming into planning processes that were largely completed and then sort of changing the direction. Ultimately, the goal, the project, or the main focus of a city manager is to help manage the day-to-day operations of the city, supervise the goings-on of the various staff, but the city manager really is not intended to provide direction. And I think part of the problem was we can't necessarily lay this all at the feet of the current city manager. My opinion is that the current council just, and honestly, I want to lay this at the feet of a few previous councils because, in my opinion, this has been an issue for longer than the last couple of years, that the city manager often was put in a position where he had to step outside of that comfort zone because that direction was not coming from the council. It's very easy to lay all the blame at one person or another person. To me, it seems like there was sort of an atmosphere created that made some of those incidences inevitable. And you know, it's very difficult for city staff without that direction, without, you know, coming through the chain of command on down to react in a way that satisfies everyone. Because sooner or later, in that vacuum, they too will have to act in a manner that is outside of their area of comfort, and then they can get called on whether or not it's their fault. So it's a rather nuanced answer, I realize, but the truth of the matter is it's part of a sort of broader and more complicated problem, I think, that's been at Auburn Hall, where the roles and responsibilities as to what ideally these different portions of city government should be haven't really been meeting the ideals espoused, particularly the city charter, and moving ahead with the visions as espoused, for example, in the comprehensive plan.